We've been getting a lot of emails from you asking us to cover pieces on some boat handling tips and techniques. So we thought that we'd have a look on this occasion at doing some things short-handed. What you do when you've only got yourself and maybe one crew, and maybe someone that's not been out much before. Lots and lots of you are saying that you go out sailing, you don't have many regular crew, and the people you take out are perhaps not that skilled. So we're going to have a look at some basic tips in terms of what to do when you come alongside, how to organise yourself, how to organise your solitary crew, and how to execute some efficient manoeuvres and put yourself safely alongside. Okay, the key to good boat handling and good manoeuvring is to make sure that you're fully prepared before you actually try and carry out the manoeuvre. Time and time again you see people rushing into a pontoon berth and they're not really ready, and that's 99% of the time that's why it all goes a bit pear-shaped. So the preparation and briefing of your crew are really, really important. So the first thing we would do is go and have a look at the berth to decide which side we were going to come alongside to, and what we'd do is put the fenders on. Right, so fenders. You might think that this is a pretty straightforward thing, and indeed it is, but you'd be amazed at the variations that we get in terms of how we tie the fenders on and what height to put them at. The most important thing, first of all, is to actually look at the pontoon and decide how high the fenders need to be. If they're too low or too high and they miss the pontoon itself, then you're going to put a big scratch down the side of the boat. Owners generally aren't too happy with that. So make sure that they're pitched at the right height. On this pontoon that I'm looking at, they want to be about mid-height. So I'm going to lower the fender down. I've sat myself down as well so that I'm not leaning over the guard wire. A lot of people come along and they'll sit like this or stand like this, and you're leaning out. If you get a bit of wash, then you could easily be over the side. So it's a good idea just to park yourself down, set your fender at the right height, and then we come to how we're going to tie it on. Again, a few variations on this. A number of ways you can do it. One knot is a clove hitch, and essentially the clove hitch is really designed to be loaded up at both ends. So as a result, sometimes those can work loose. The knot I prefer is a round turn and 2 half hitches. We take a turn right the way around, put the 2 half hitches on. The good thing about this is it generally doesn't slip, and if I want to have a bit of extra security, I can put another half hitch in there once they're set at the right height. When we're sailing in short-handed, there might be the need for us to move the fenders around. So another knot that we can use is a slip clove hitch. The way in which that works is to tie the normal clove hitch, but instead of carrying on and taking what we call the running end, this end of the rope through there, we basically put a bight of rope through, or a loop if you like, and that will enable us then ultimately, when we want to adjust it quickly, to pull on that end and then just roll the fender down or up accordingly, so that we can fit that in. One other knot that's really useful for tying fenders on is what we call a split clove hitch. And the idea of a split clove hitch is that it goes around a stanchion, and the big advantage of that is that it actually stops the fender from rolling along the guard wire. And so what we do is get the fender at the right height, and we put the round turn goes either side of the stanchion itself. Now a clove hitch is really just 2 half hitches, so what you end up with is a half hitch on either side of the stanchion. That way when the boat comes alongside, the fender can't roll all the way along the guard wire on the top.